Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Iron Woman. We only have special guests, and today we go to Uma Welingkar. At the moment, she's in England, where I studied many moons ago, so I have a special connection, but usually she's in the Bay Area. And when you read her biography, she's enabling product-led growth for B2B. She is the top 50 woman in tech 2021, and she's also advisor. Uma is the lady who is in tech, knows about product, but you also are a fun lady to talk to. So that's why we need to get to know you a little bit on a different level than maybe the tech.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you, especially the Iron Woman. We can start with that. It's one of those things that outside of working, and I know you always say this as your last question, we can start with this amongst the many other things I do, but running is sort of what keeps me grounded. It also makes me think. So I always kind of look at running as alone time. And I used to run a lot. I used to run like marathons. Now I don't run as much, but that is my go-to to ground myself. And it's funny because when I used to be at work, if I didn't run in the morning, my team would know immediately that I never ran because they would go, she's not in a good mood today. It also lets you think. In the past, I would run with nothing, no music, no nothing. And it's just the sounds of traffic. The other thing that I always did is I ran before the shops opened. So every single time I traveled to a new city, I would go run in the morning, like 6 a.m. Even when I traveled with my family, I would be out the door, run the streets, kind of see when the stores are just opening, the shops are opening. And then when we would go back for our morning coffee or lunch, tea, whatever, I would know a lot about those stores. You learn the city.
I love that. It's a different feel. I really appreciate that as well. I also say decision-making, thinking, planning is the best when you do running, especially in the morning.
Bringing that into the mix. If you want to build a product, you want to do any of those things, I would always tell people it's not a sprint. It's really a marathon, right? Because you really have to think about sort of end to end, right? From start, like the product inception to sunset. I think people would always kind of go, oh, I did a product, I've launched, great. But I think beyond the launch, it's like, are people using it? What's the adoption? Not just the revenue. Revenue is a big thing. We need to think about the revenue, but it's also, are people using it? So there's all of these things that you need to think about in a product from conception to sunset. That always gives me the parallels to running. It gives me parallels in lots of different sports. With running, it's a little bit more because you need that endurance to kind of last. It's not like one and done thing. You have to sort of continuously kind of improve better. And some days are good, some days are bad. And it's the same way when it comes to, building products. So there is so much parallels around, what we do in sports. And usually people will always say in the US, you spend a lot of time talking about sports because that's how you break the ice. But there is some truth to it. It really brings people together, but it also lets people think in terms of analogies a lot more easily.
I like your parallel so much with the marathon. Actually, a marathon takes 6 months to prepare. The better you plan, the better the end result is. And it doesn't end. I always say there's no finish line in business, especially as an entrepreneur.
I always tell people, in some sense, I got lucky. I started my career at Wells Fargo when they were going into insurance in the 90s in California as an engineer at Siebel. And it was one of the best things ever because I always say I learned from the best engineers, from the best product managers. Obviously, when I got when we got acquired into Orca. If you're in a small company, you have to do all of those things yourself and you learn yourself. When in a big company, it's the same thing, but you're given a lot of like experienced people working with you and sort of pushing you in the right direction and getting you all the right things. Just simple thing as like even an M&A, how to do an M&A really well is something I really learned being there. I never thought I would, but I did. An M&A really looked like, how do you kind of bring people? So it wasn't just about technology. It was really about people. Are we putting the people in the right place?
Tell us more about Top 50 Women in Tech 2021. How do you get into that? How do you get recognized? And first of all, congratulations. This is a huge accomplishment.
I just think I got lucky. I just
No.
again, I'm just in the right place at the right time. And so I was in for a company again that has multiple products. It's global, again, across like continents, and I managed the products for them. And as part of that, I got recognized as the top 50 women. And I actually was so lucky that I got recognized with some of the women that I'd worked with even at Oracle, I looked up to them as well. It was a really sort of not just eye-opening, it just felt like we're all in this together. I always look at it and I look back and I had, the right people and the right mentors and in the places that I worked that were always supportive of what I did and how I wanted to do things. So I do a mentorship as well, really with not just product managers, but like engineers and product managers as well. Especially now is also with AI, with so much upending and things happening. What's the right thing to do? Where should, they be focusing on? What things to sort of ignore and let go. And in some cases, sometimes you do need to have a mentorship like outside of work, because that's where you want to just shoot some ideas, think different, not about your workplace per se, but how do you navigate actually in times like these when things are changing so much.
And you certainly always give back. Before we recorded, we also said, how can we help you? Do you accept help from others? Or you're always giving? Tell us more about the human side of the tech world that you're in.
It's harder for me to accept help for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just my personality. It may be just how you were brought up. It's something like my dad would always say, the first half of your life, you go work and earn your money. The second half, you really need to give back. And that's something that's always ingrained in my head. He would be always like, second half, you need to figure out how would you do things like work at nonprofit and look at ways to return, because somebody put you there. And so you need to kind of give back. And so I would tell my team this all the time, right? People say it takes a village to raise a child. And it's the same thing in product. It takes a village to raise the product. But, one of the things that I have great difficulty is delegating. And that's something that's always hit me my whole life. And when I was going through cancer and I was going through chemo, I would still try and do everything myself. I'll go get my water myself. I'll do everything, whatever. And there was one time I asked for a glass of water and my daughter said, "Oh my God, mom's finally realizing she can ask for help." So for her, it was like an eye opener. She's like, she knows. Because she would say, "Mom, do you want anything? Can I do something?" I'm like, no, I'm good. And so when the first time I asked, it was just a complete change. I started realizing, yes, it's okay to ask for help, but I still regress back to not asking for help. It's one of those things that is just ingrained in me. It's going to take me a while, but I certainly need to do that a lot more. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be vulnerable, but it takes time. You're giving back in a way, as your father said, but you also need to allow that other people take care of you. And I've been lucky. My family is very supportive and very good. I've been lucky through my treatment. They were very, very supportive, to the point sometimes I had to say, "Please go away." I had good neighbors. I had a really good neighbor who was also she would come in, check on, she's a doctor, so she'd come and check on me just to see how I was doing. Didn't ask for it. Came about. I tell people, and somebody said, it's not luck, it's who you make, like who you make as your friends and who you make as your neighbors. And in every place I've lived, now I thought when we moved from Los Altos to San Francisco, I wouldn't have that kind of neighborhood and friend. I got a great neighborhood and friendship where I am. A friend of mine said, it's not the people, it's you with the
I
people that
think
make
so.
a difference,
I
or the
think
people
it's
with
you.
you, right?
Yeah,
So
you exude this nice energy, and people want to be part of your team and want to be part of your environment, your ecosystem. Yeah. And tell us about the companion that you're starting to talk about or building.
how do you talk? How do you say, I'm here to help without them feeling that you're there for them now? What were you doing all this time? Because that's the first thing that people would say. I was here for 10 years, you never asked me anything, and suddenly, why are you asking me for help? And so one of the things that I started thinking, and this was me as well. So when I was going through treatment, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to tell anyone what I was going through. I would have friends, I would have people saying, I can connect you with them. They'd give me the phone number. I had, my old neighbors. I don't know how I'm going to be until I'm done through the treatment. I don't really want to talk. And that's when I started thinking, and especially now with AI and things happening. Initially, when we started thinking, we were like, okay, maybe we should capture symptoms and sort of keep that in mind because the doctors always ask you about symptoms. So I used to have this notebook that I would keep and I would take it to the doctor's office and she'd say, what happened on day one? And I'd go back and look and what I ate, what I did. And so we called it Project Notebook. And then now, as we started looking at especially how much AI has changed and how much more we can do, one of the things that kind of came to mind is, can we have like a conversational companion that's there to help? Like you can talk to at any time of the day. You don't have to feel like you have to do it on somebody else's time, right? So you could say here, or you kind of like stop the conversation whenever you want and don't have to spend the hour with your friend that came over, but you were not quite, ready, or you're not like in the mood at that point. And so this is something that I started thinking about. My family, my husband's, obviously in technology as well. And so we said, this might be something that maybe worth looking at in sense of the companion that's there for you, but really thinks about you and be emotionally available. And most of the time, the nurses are very good at recognizing your emotions and they really talk to you based on your mood. And those are some of the things that I'm thinking in this app. And then also sort of say, capture the symptoms that they say, like just ask them, hey, how's your day been? And just capture the information that's there. And if something seems a little off, being able to say, do you want to talk to your doctor now? I think it's time to talk to your doctor. Or do you want me to write up something that can help you have that conversation with your doctor? Or even understanding diagnosis, because one of the biggest things with cancer is too much information all at once. And so how do you sort of make it easy from a layman's conversation to not just help you as a patient, but also your family, right? Your caregivers to say, it's okay. These are things that we can do. Or how do you sort of talk to a patient, but really kind of like make it easy to understand the diagnosis a lot more? Because a lot of them is, oh, it's ER positive, HR positive, and you go, what? Like everything's all these
It's mumbo
jargon.
jumbo.
The doctor tries to explain it to you, but you can't in an hour. It's just not enough. And there's so much information now available also that we can certainly use and then personalize it to sort of your needs. So that's something on the back of my mind that I want to sort of really use, but go beyond just not just diagnosis and during treatment, because that's when most people use it, but it's really beyond survivorship, because one of the things that happens in survivorship is when you're done, where you're 5 years or 10 years, you just send back to your primary care. The primary care doesn't really know a whole lot about you. So there's no handoff really between the doctors. And it's just survivorship is is one of the hardest things that people seem to ignore, because they're like, oh, they're in remission, they survived, life is good. If it happens again, it's almost like a new cancer or recurrence. But it's not like that for the patient.
No, it's not
It's
that going back to normality is actually harder.
correct. That's the biggest thing is like, okay, are we really normal, or is there something always at the back of the mind? And it's most people have something at the back of the mind, especially the day they have to go get their mammograms, or there's always like, oh, are they going to find something? I always make fun. It's always it's the longest 15 minutes of my life or the longest hour of my life. So the first time when I went back and got it, they called me back for imaging 4 times. And I thought, for sure they found cancer in the second breast, right? That's the first thing in my mind. And I was like, I had my treatment all planned out, and this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. It's just crazy that you think so much and do those things. I think I'm hoping that having a companion that can kind of like really be there with you throughout your journey, but beyond your journey as well, is something that might resonate with people. So that's where the help is like, how do we sort of connect with people? How do we talk to both the patients and caregivers? Does it make sense? Would you use something like this? Again, where tech can be used for the good, right? And really help people.
The world is ready for this. A companion, maybe with your voice. We talk about reading audiobooks with the author reading it. So maybe it should be your voice, not a computer voice. You have something in the works for you for 2026 as we approaching the new year. Looking forward to hearing more about this. And we're here to support you. Just want to put that out there. If you need help, there's other people who went through this and they might be able to help you. So thank you so much for giving us a glimpse and good luck with everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Truly amazing. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Take it from the Iron Woman. We have episodes every Monday. Come and join us. We have more than 500 episodes. And also the book has been around since 2017, so quite a time. Take it from the Iron Woman, Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. Get it, get a copy for you. See the journey from Switzerland to Mount Kilimanjaro and 26 marathon races, but also the Ironman. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next time. Take care and bye-bye.